Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Budget Gourmet. It's been a long time since I've said that. A lot has changed in my life, and I'm not going to get into everything here because it would just bore you, and you probably wouldn't even care. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite times of the year, just the whole time frame in between Thanksgiving to Christmas. It's just everybody's jolly, the world is filled with joy. Christmas lights are going up. Nobody cares about their weight anymore. I'm not the odd one out who didn't get a beach body this summer for the 12th year in a row. Anyway, I was tasked this year with creating a soup for my family Thanksgiving. So I settled on a more budget-friendly loaded potato soup. I think this is a very safe soup if you're going to choose any sort of soup to make for Thanksgiving. You can't go wrong with potatoes, cheese, and bacon. You can never go wrong with those things. But anyway, the Budget Gourmet is back, hopefully. And let's just get right into the recipe. I'm probably boring you talking so much. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let's just get into the recipe, and I'm going to show you how I make this loaded potato soup on a budget. Okay, so first things first, let's go over our ingredients. I have some potatoes. Wouldn't be potato soup without some potatoes. Next, we're going in with some bacon, thick cut. I like to get ingredients that remind me of myself. Bacon was thick, I'm thick, 2 and 2. Green onion for garnish, some red onion, I like the color. About 4 to 5 cloves of garlic. Reduced sodium chicken broth because I want to season and salt myself. All-purpose unbleached flour, cheese because to add the flavor of cheese, some celery to pretend like we're being healthy, butter. I also had milk. I didn't end up using the butter though because it was already rich enough. Some smoked paprika, nice color, a little bit of smokiness, black pepper, and of course salt. Now that we have all of our ingredients together, it's time to start prepping them, the longest of which is going to be peeling and chopping these potatoes. I'm going to start by giving them a nice rinse, and then we're just going to grab whatever sort of peeler we have and start going to town on these potatoes. I like to have my plastic bag ready to take care of all of my potato shavings. Now, there are levels to this recipe. You can use fresh like me, or you can just use canned potatoes. I prefer fresh. I think it will provide a better texture, but that's just my opinion. Obviously, try to remove any dark or weird-looking spots you may find on your potatoes, any little blemishes. But just do the best you can. Don't be too hard on yourself. My cutting board is moving like crazy. Why? Now that our potatoes are peeled and chopped, no, they're not. They're not chopped yet. Now that our potatoes are peeled and washed, it's time to chop them. What are we doing? Anyway, I'm just chopping these up into little bite-sized pieces, as you'll see here in a minute. I don't want them to be super small so that they turn into mush in an instant, but I don't want them to be obscenely big that they don't fit into the well of your spoon, sort of an in-between. Like the porridge from the blonde, the girl with the bears. Goldilocks. Couldn't think of the name. It's very white as I'm recording this. But anyway, find a size that works for you. Obviously, if you're getting them from a can, they're already probably pre-chopped. But if not, do whatever size you want. It's your soup. I don't care what you do. As long as it's edible and you're enjoying what you made, then what you make, just throw the whole potato in there and hope for the best. And maybe you don't even have to chop them. Do whatever you want. I don't really care. Also, my cutting board was annoying me, and it was moving around so much, so I used this little trick from chefs and stuff. They put a wet paper towel underneath so it doesn't move. After our potatoes have been chopped, I'm putting them in cold water and setting them aside because I don't need to use them right now. The water's going to help them stay fresh, and make sure it's cold water. On to the prep of our other ingredients. We are moving on to the flavor bomb for our soup. It is the onion. Shout out to Doug Heffernan. I hate cutting onions, by the way. I don't really like doing this at all. I always end up crying. This is I hate this part of the process when it comes to onions. This peel takes me so long. I have no nails. I bite my nails. That's a bad habit. I'm sorry. Forgive me, please. But I really hate this part. And every time I chop an onion, I think of that scene. Ogres have but there's too many layers, and I don't like peeling off the layers, and I just really frustrates me, and I don't really like it. But this is all part of the process. Also, if you have the time and you want to, you can take all your onion scraps and scraps from everything that ever you have in your kitchen and throw them in some water and make a stock out of them. But I didn't do that because I got my chicken stock for $1.50 to $2. Anyway, I'm just doing what you might consider a traditional diced or chopped onion. It's just, you can follow what I'm doing right here. I'm not really going to explain it. They're much better, more qualified people who can explain how to chop into dice an onion. We're just looking for, again, little bite-sized pieces, all even like so. So they all cook the same and give a proper texture to our dish. Uniformity is key to cooking. You heard it here. Plus, I guess it just utilizes all of the ingredient or something like that, so you're not wasting stuff and all this other things. But look at how much of the onion we're using, like almost all of it. We only have like this little bit of onion left, and I think so. Yeah, like look at how much. After our onions are all cut and prepped and ready to go, it's time to cut our celery. We gave these a thorough wash, but I'm still going to cut off these disgusting bits here. For the cut on the celery, if you were curious, I'm just going to cut them into 3 sections, and we're also going to try to make them the same shape and size as our diced onions. I want everything texturally to be the same. The next 2 ingredients that we're going to prep are going to be separate from our onions and our celery. We're going to be prepping our garlic. Now, I'm going to show you right now how I like to prepare my garlic. I just like to give it a nice little crush right here. This helps to peel all of the skin off like so. Very easy, even though I'm not making it look easy. Dan, what are you... and then after it's crushed, it just makes it a little bit easier to chop. Just a rough chop here, because if you get it too small, like the minced garlic, it could burn very easily. I used about 4 to 5 cloves of garlic, but now it's time to move on to our green onion. And we're only using the green part of the onion. I'm just doing very thin slices of the green part of the green onion. Can I say green another time? But this is going to be our garnish, and basically it's just going to be put on top. It's essentially just to make it look a little bit fancy. It will provide a little bit of flavor, but honestly it's just to fake people out, to look like it's something healthy when it really isn't. And I'm actually going to separate this and then cut the rest of the onion and just add that to my red onion and my celery, just so as not to waste anything. And the final part of our preparation, thank the Lord, is our bacon. I chose thick cut bacon. It's going to handle a little bit better in the pot. And please, 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 I don't know who I need to talk to at Big Bacon, but can we design the packaging for the bacon better? This is outrageous. We're almost in the big 2026 and we're still doing, I have as much bacon juices on my hand as they did in the Middle Ages. Can fix it, please. I decided to cut the bacon into these little strips here, but you could just leave it whole, sort of, and just cook it like regular bacon and then crumble it in. But I feel like with this, you're getting sort of all even pieces again. But like I said, do whatever you want. It will definitely be easier the other way, but this will definitely render down all of those fatty bits a lot more evenly, I think. Hey, remember how I said the potatoes would be a really long part to do? Well, so is this one. In your soup pan or pot, whatever you're making your soup in, I have mine on a medium-low heat. More emphasis on low. We're going to slowly render out all of the fat from our bacon and really give this bacon a nice crisp. As you can see, I'm just trying to separate the pieces here and make sure it's evenly coating the bottom of our pot so as to ensure even browning. You understand? Good. You want to be stirring your bacon occasionally because it could very easily start to burn in your pot. Make sure it doesn't do that. But look at the beautiful fond we're forming on the bottom of our pot here. This is going to add so much beautiful flavor to our soup. As you can see, after a while, our bacon, all of that fat, has rendered down very, very well. It's starting to get crispy, and ooh, it's starting to smell so, so, so good. After your bacon is done cooking, remove it from the pot and lower your heat to a low heat. Then we're going to be adding our onions and our celery and all of that gorgeous bacon fat. And we're just going to be sweating these down for a couple of minutes. We don't want them to turn to mush. We just want them to absorb all of that flavor that's in there. And the process we are going to be doing now is the moisture in the vegetables is going to help to be able to release that fond from the bottom of our pot here. Just do your best and scrape up all of those brown bits. That is going to add so much flavor to your soup. After you have cooked down your celery and your onion for a couple of minutes and scraped up all that you could, now it's time to add in our garlic. Please, please, please make sure you watch this part. This is very vital. Burnt garlic can have a very bitter taste. This will not take super long. Just allow your garlic to become fragrant and mesh and mingle together with the onions and the celery. We are also going to be going in with our seasonings right here. We're going in with our salt, some pepper, and some smoked paprika. I only added a little bit, but you can definitely be more generous. I did have to season with a lot of salt later because those potatoes just absorbed everything. After everything has been seasoned, maybe just put a handful of flour in and not literally half of the bag that I did. This is going to be your thickening agent, but please be careful because if you add too much flour like I did, it could burn on the bottom, and that would not be very good. Anyway, another important thing to know is that you should really be stirring as much as possible during this time because you don't want any weird flour clumps just popping up into your soup. Make sure everything is really well incorporated before adding your soup broth or stock, whatever. After everything has been mixed thoroughly, I like to add in my soup broth or stock a little at a time so as not to make it too thick or to make it too thin. I like having that little bit of a safety net because I can always add more broth later. I can't necessarily always, it's just sometimes a pain to thicken it up. Next, we're going to be adding our potatoes. I'm just going to be giving these a good stir, making sure that they're well incorporated, and then adding that remaining chicken broth, making sure that they're all covered. I just want to be sure that these potatoes are going to cook through. We're going to cover it up and let it simmer. After about 20-25 minutes, this is what it looks like. Definitely thickened up. The only thing we're going to be looking for here is to make sure that our potatoes are fork tender. After that, you can incorporate your cream. As you can see, I chose milk, and we're just going to give that another good stir. You can see it's going to lighten up the color of our soup and really give it that classic potato soup color. Here's me adding another big pinch of salt. And as far as the seasoning goes, you want to season it just until you think it's right because that bacon is also going to provide a lot of salty flavor as well. And now it's the final part. All we're going to be doing is adding our bacon and add about as much cheese as you wish. You can't go wrong with bacon and cheese, in my opinion. Just added a good handful of cheese here. Let's give everything one final stir, and now it's time to plate. And what soup would be complete without a couple of slices of bread? I got some nice crusty Italian bread here. Just going to cut myself a couple of slices to enjoy with my soup. And finally, we're just going to finish it off with our green onion. Guys, for me, this soup is incredible. It's not very hard to do, and it packs a lot of flavor with not a lot of effort. It really ticks off all the boxes for me. It's comforting, it's indulgent, it's rich, it's budget friendly. So let me know what you think. I hope you decided to make it, or if you like the recipe, let me know. If there's anything you would change or do differently, I'd also like to know that too. And if you decided to make this for your Thanksgiving meal the day of, or you just choose to do this for a weeknight meal, that's great. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you have a happy Thanksgiving, and I will see you next time.